Welcome back to Vintage Vinyl at CourierJournal.com. I'm Jeffrey Lee Puckett, music writer for the Courier Journal. This is my buddy and co-host Tom Heiser.
Always a pleasure to be in the basement. Always a pleasure to be here with JLP. I've got to crack the fingers today. I'm cracking some fingers. I'm limbering up because this is, we have a lot of special days on this show, but I'm not sure this will be the most special, but it's going to be awfully good. Tell them what it's all about, JLP. This is a fan request.
We're doing our favorite riffs of all time. It's already started.
Are we tune them? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's getting there.
And riffs, to me, it's a complicated question. We had some problems actually defining what a riff is.
One of our more unlettered fans said something to the effect of he thought it was just 10 minutes of banging on a guitar, and that's not what it really meant to be.
It's not soloing. No. It's really a chord progression, ideally a chord progression that forms the basis for a rock and roll song.
And I wouldn't necessarily say it's a hook. Hook's maybe a little different, but it's close to that. But like you said, it forms the basis. It is integral to the song.
And it's integral to rock and roll.
Yes, it is.
Without a doubt. It's riffs started with the blues, moved into rock and roll, and we're going to kick it off with our 6 through 10.
6 through 10, and you can't get any better at my number 10 than, I'm just going to cite one song, but it's Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones. Nobody knows how to go A, B, B, A, B, B. Nobody does that riff.
You're kind of cheating because you got
nobody takes that.
You got 60 riffs in one riff.
They are the kings of the 2-chord wonders. Oh, love Blitzkrieg Bop. It's just fantastic. Right. Number 9, I'm going with Iron Man.
Nice.
Number 8,
slow riff.
Slow riff. Number 8, You Really Got Me. Oh, I love that song.
Yeah.
Number 7, you gotta have Walk This Way.
That's pretty good riff.
Joe Perry's best, I might say. And at number 6, I'm going with Sunshine of Your Love.
I couldn't pick any riff that I could actually play, and I can play that one.
You can play Sunshine of Your Love.
So that disqualified it for me.
Well, it's power. I mean, that is a power riff. I mean, to be able to really jam that, I'm very surprised you can play that.
Yeah, well, it's not that hard.
I would think that you could probably do Blitzkrieg Bop a lot easier. Now that said, I had to pick Blitzkrieg Bop, but it was right there with the other great riff of, well, basically any of their songs, but I Want to Be Sedated, which also has the same riff. But they are the masters of it. And again, these are the hooks. You want to be able to sit down there and jam like Joe Perry. Like you want to be able to play like was it Dee Dee Ramone?
Sure.
One
of the Ramones. My list starts with one of the great riff meisters of all time, Pete Townsend. I Can't Explain.
Which was my number one. My number one Who song. Oh,
could also have picked My Generation, which is another great powerhouse riff.
It is,
but Can't Explain just seems.
Yes.
It's one of those riffs that actually almost serves also as the hook. It does both.
You have made my day, brother.
Thank you. I go with Miserlou by the great Dick Dale next, just to sort of sum up the whole surf rock thing. Back in Black, one of the greatest guitar riffs of all time, closely followed by Paranoid.
Oh, yes. There we go.
More Sabbath. And then at number 6, I did Cold Sweat, which is Jimmy Nolan, which was James Brown's guitar player, just because that little slinky thing was as much a part of James Brown's sound as the chord progression for the Ramones.
Because I break out.
Let's see what the Magic Guest Ball says about our guest this week. We're going to have to find us
we need a rocker,
a rock and roll guitar player who knows what a big riff means and how it can get the girls.
Oh yeah.
Guest Ball, who we got?
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's Louisville's premier riff master, Adam Kramer, formerly of Broken Spurs.
Right now, my favorite big riff song is actually by a Louisville band called the Rugbies, and it's a song called UI. And I love it because it actually makes me feel like I want to be in a different place.
That was the best choice possible for me. I'm really happy about that.
No disagreements.
It comes from an air guitar master.
And I'm going to take it to I'm going to do a virtuoso performance here with these top 5, and I'm kicking it off with one that might surprise you. This might surprise you.
I don't even know what this is.
Alex Lifeson.
Wow.
Living in the Limelight.
Wow, that does surprise me.
I was never the biggest Rush fan. In fact, I've always been one of the people that when the Rush heads come around, I've always just kind of, you know, I was never a big Tom Sawyer fan. Never a big Tom Sawyer. But Living in the Limelight, not only do I think is just a terrific Rush song, it is just an unbelievable
really
rock
great.
and roll song. I love that song. And just that opening, the that pulled me in as much as any guitar riff I've ever heard.
I think that defines what a guitar riff is, you know.
Those who wish to be must put aside the
That's the problem
alienation.
with that is that the song continues after the opening riff is the whole issue there for me.
What? That whole part of that, get outside the reservation. Oh, that is the best part. I love that.
Anyway, my number 5 is Satisfaction. Duh.
Do-do-do-do. Oh, yeah. You got
Satisfaction is the very definition of a Rolling Stones riff.
Yes.
It is. Apparently, it came to Keith in a dream, as I understand it. He was probably wide awake and just didn't know the difference.
Sure.
But,
we'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Yeah, but how can you go wrong with damn, damn?
Actually, my favorite part of that riff is that drop when it goes, I can't get no doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh, I love when it goes down like that. That's perfect.
All right, what's your foe?
Number 4, I might knock you down again with Inagata Davida Bunny. Oh, that is heavy.
Well,
it's heavy rock and roll.
You got a good point.
Oh.
In a God of Peter, honey, don't you know that I'm loving you?
You're not going to get much heavier than "In a God of Davida," and then especially when it really goes into the long part of the song.
Yeah.
But it's a nice combination, especially in the long riff, which is the heavy rock and roll with the psychedelic influence to it. That's what makes it Iron Butterfly, baby.
And also a very blues rock.
Oh, it's a perfect amalgam, let's say.
Which explains my number 4. I went with Hoochie Coochie Man, which is a Muddy Waters song written by Willie Dixon, and it's just got the classic blues riff. Dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
You know, that's the DNA for so much rock and roll.
The gypsy woman told my mother before I was born, you got a boy child coming, gonna be a son of a gun.
So I wanted to give a little shout out to Willie and Muddy because without them, there would be no Satisfaction.
No, absolutely.
There really wouldn't be.
Absolutely. Number 3, I'm going with arguably one of the most recognizable of all rock and roll tunes.
I'd say top 3 recognizable riffs of all time.
Is Layla.
Yeah.
Derek and the Dominoes. And, well, let's just say a great shout out to Eric Clapton. But yes, the whole the whole beginning of it, which is kind of the throwaway part to me at the beginning. I never really got hooked into it at the beginning as much. It's when it really just starts to build that I'm really just kind of taken away. love the line, you know, like a fool, fell in love with you. That foolish pride, Layla, damn, got me on my knees.
He really had a rough time with that old Patty Harrison.
Yes, was his unrequited love.
Yeah. I guess they got married eventually. Didn't they? I think they did. I think they got married eventually, yeah.
Well, I mean, he pined for her for a long time.
Yeah, he stole her away from poor old George.
What he do?
George didn't care. George was good with God. He was fine. He knew somebody else would come along.
And we must say, Martin Scorsese.
Once again,
Martin Scorsese in the great panorama of blood and mayhem of killing all the guys that were part of the the great Lufthansa heist. Everybody's been shot in the head, hung up in meat lockers, and yet there's Layla playing for me. Love it.
Well, my number 3 was your number 8. You Really Got Me.
Yes.
And I struggled with either You Really Got Me, because we're talking the Kinks.
Yes, we are talking the Kinks.
Or All Day and All of the Night, which was another great Davies brother riff. But with You Really Got Me, you also have the Van Halen.
Yes.
So as a bookend for one riff becoming 2 equally great and very different songs.
But I think that the Kinks version is less polished, and maybe that's why I like it just that much more.
Yeah.
Girl, you really got me going. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, you really got me going. You got me so I guess we been.
They were, for a sophisticated songwriter, they were pretty garagey there.
They were very garagey. A buddy of mine swears by the Kinks. In fact, is waiting with bated breath for us to come up with a Kinks show. So it might be there at some point.
Let's do it.
Number 2, I'm good. This is my surprise. But it is, if you want a guitar riff, you're going to get it right here. Do 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 do. Do do do, the Kingsmen, baby, Louie.
The riff that launched 1,000 party bands.
They sail the sea. And again, you know as well as I do, as well as our producer does, that I am Jefferson County's #1 Animal House fan. One of the great scenes in Animal House is them all drunkenly slurring through the words that you don't know anyway. Nobody knows the words.
No. You can Google them, but
but
all the versions are different.
It takes all the fun out of it.
Yeah,
you just need to say night and day, and even when the chorus breaks off and you've got that little, kind of the surfer sound to it, then it comes right back to it. Louie, baby.
That was a good choice. I like that choice. My number 2 is one of the most famous riffs of all time, the great Chuck Berry.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Be Good.
Even Alex P. Keaton had to do it on...
Exactly. Family Ties notwithstanding, one of the seminal guitar riffs in the history of rock and roll. It was so good that Chuck basically used it, or some variation of that, another 45, 50 times.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I love there was the documentary that was made with Keith Richards and Chuck Berry, and watching him study Chuck Berry, go over that riff. It's just amazing.
It's apparently a whole lot harder than you would think to really play it right. And Chuck will be the first person to tell you that. He is one of the most egotistical.
Especially when you in that documentary, when you see him kind of, letting Keith Richards know where he's going wrong. And even Keith seems to be kind of, in awe of the master and is willing to learn it. It's a brilliant moment, and I guess you really do get a new appreciation for that song.
Yeah, he was also pretty scared of Chuck, I thought. Hell, Rock and Roll. If you haven't seen Hell, Rock and Roll, definitely call that up. That is a piece of work in more ways than one.
I'd like to see you do that dance.
That's not going to happen. I like to see you pick a number one. Something that makes sense somehow.
Oh, this is going to make a lot of sense. Louie made sense, but this even makes more sense. And when we're talking guitar riffs, how can we not have Led Zeppelin on the list? And we've already had our great Led Zeppelin show.
We could have done 10 Led Zeppelin
easily,
riffs.
and we've already done a great Led Zeppelin show. But when it comes to specific riffs and specific sounds that you just cannot dismiss from your eardrums, you got it. For me, it's it's Heartbreaker. I love that hook. That, you know, and then it gets even faster. Oh yeah, Heartbreaker is as powerful a riff as it's going to get. And then,
From my eyes a different smile, I got it one goes.
And then I don't want to shortchange what it leads into. Again, I think we said during our Led Zeppelin show, you cannot divorce one from the other.
Right.
I have seen some critics who've said that Heartbreaker is the dominant song and deserves the credit.
No, you can't have one without the other.
I agree, and that's why I was very disappointed on one of the Led Zeppelin compilations that I bought. Just had Heartbreaker, and it just seemed a little. Just seemed to lose something, but the riff is still what it needs to be.
Did you try to return it as defective?
There's
something wrong with this CD.
Loving Maid. But of all this, that's the one that just I can't lose.
Well, I agree that Jimmy Page is probably the master of the riff, which is why A Whole Lot of Love is my number one. Jimmy Page has just got a gift for it, and he talks about it in that movie he made with Jack White. It's about to get loud, or it's going to get loud in here, or something like that. It's Jack White, The Edge for some reason, and Jimmy Page, and they're just talking about guitar and rock and roll guitar and blues based. And Jimmy, you know, is basically acknowledged as the king of the riff, and you cannot get heavier than A Whole Lot of Love. That thing to me, Whole Lot of Love riff defines riffage. I always love that word, riffage. That is just maximum riffage. I mean, it just drives the whole song. It just builds and builds and builds.
And even the break of down,
Right.
It comes right back in. Oh, I know. It's perfect from beginning, middle, and end.
But we do acknowledge, as we take a look at both of our lists here, we do acknowledge that there is some confusion over what amounts to a riff. Some people like just little guitar parts that are really more of a hook, as you said, than a riff.
I had a debate about that with someone who told me that the opening, that Eddie Van Halen's opening to Running with the Devil would, and to me that, I don't know what, he's probably right, maybe in his interpretation. To me, dun, 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 dun,
I think it's more riff than not.
Right,
but I know what you mean, though.
It just didn't pull me in the same way.
There's a little something about it, yeah.
And it's not, like you said, it's not part of to me, the underlying song in and of itself. It opens the song great, but it doesn't carry it all the way through.
This is going to be interesting to have folks chip in with their list. I'm really looking forward to it. Hit us up at our Facebook page, our Vintage Vinyl Facebook page, and just post your list. Make fun of our lists. You could also shoot us a tweet at CJ Vinyl, and we'll be happy to point out where you went wrong.
Sure. We might even come and do a concert for you.
It'll be an air guitar concert.
Yes.
There she is.
Oh,
I know.
Better answer.
She likes the riffage. Yeah, Mom, what's going on?
I can't believe you named the song Jimmy wrote after me.
Which one?
Foxy Lady.
Oh, there she goes again.
She did have a thing with Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
It went on for years.
Oh, okay, well.
She was actually in the hotel room when he died. I have questions about that.
Can we just crank Blitzkrieg Bop? Just be done with it.
All right. Join us next week for another outstanding edition of Vintage Vinyl at CourierJournal.com.
Better take this off.